Now, we in HUL remain very positive about the medium to long-term outlook for our industry in the country, whether it is affluence, whether it is aspirations, attitudes, awareness, access. I think all are moving in the direction where it ought to be. Now, when we talk about attractiveness, we just have to look at the penetration of several of our categories. It's still at a very nascent stage. Say, for instance, a ubiquitous bar of soap. We are still talking about that in rural India, the usage of soap after people have gone to the loo is in single digits. It's a lot to do with changing human behavior, and that's where Mr. Modi's program of Swachh Bharat becomes so relevant. When you look at the penetration of fabric conditioners, when you look at the penetration of liquid soaps, they are still in their infancy. Now, we are the largest FMCG in the country. We should be 30,000 crores. We have big brands, deep roots, been in India for many years. We have been in India for nearly a century. We have, our strength is great brands and absolutely phenomenal talent. We reach over 3 million outlets directly. We sell 30 billion pieces of products every year in India. 98% of the households in India across the spectrum of the society use one or more of our brands. And we are fervently looking for the balance 2%. Our strategy is very simple. We want to grow consistently, grow ahead of the market, grow profitably, and very importantly, have a responsible growth. If you look at competitive growth, we have been outpacing the market, growing ahead of the market. Even if we look at the last 4 quarters which have gone by, when the markets have grown at about 5%, we have grown in double digit. So nearly 2x the market. Yeah, is very clearly for us, it has to be a volume-driven growth. That's what we focus on. We want more consumers to come into our fold, not leave our brands. And when it comes to margins, we always talk about modest improvement in margins every year. As far as the sustainable living plan is concerned, we have made good progress. About 65 million people have been impacted by a Lifebuoy hand washing campaign. And why this campaign is very important, I just alluded to a while back. We have reached about 55 million people through Pureit. Now, Pureit was based on the relevance of getting bacteria-free water to households which do not have access to electricity or to running water. And that's what Pureit does. Yeah? As far as our environmental footprints are concerned, today we are getting into a zone nearly where all our factories will be zero landfill as far as the non-hazardous waste is concerned. And our Shakti Amma project is progressing well. We have about 65,000 Shakti Ammas and 50,000 Shakti Mans distributing our products in an environment where the conventional distribution will never be cost effective. And in the process, we are making a significant difference to their livelihoods. Strong, consistent track record of performance, whether it is return of capital employed or the cash from operations. We continue to build big brands. We have 11 brands which are more than 1,000 crores each. And we have 8 brands which have crossed the 500 crore mark, inching towards the 1,000 crore mark. When you look at from the quality of brands or the number of brands which are in the top 100 or top 10 or top 25, we always have been maintaining a disproportionate share of those brands. We have retained for the 4th consecutive year the employer of choice, 5th year in a row the dream employer, and we remain the number 1 when it comes to marketing and in IMs, in FMCG, in finance and IT, as well as the employer for women. Our framework is captured in what we call as the compass. It sets the direction for the company. Yeah, 4 big pillars: winning with brands and innovation, winning in the marketplace, winning through continuous improvement, and winning through people. And very importantly, for us, safety is non-negotiable, and the way we do our business is very clearly identified by a sustainable living plan. For us, our mission is to make sustainable living commonplace. That's what goes back to the ethos of Unilever. 100 years back, when 1 in 2 child would not cross the age of 1 in Victorian England, Lord Leverhulme made the first branded soap in the world with the whole intent of bringing hygiene to the then population. If we look at it 100 years later, that's what we have been doing to our country here in India. Winning with brands and innovation, our focus is both. One is to ensure that a core of a brand remains strong, and the second is, because we are the market leaders, we have to make new markets. So we come with a market maker mindset. We have been investing increasingly in our A&P expenditure, but that goes again for the dual purpose of making new segments, making them bigger, as well as strengthening our core. In the last 18 to 24 months, about 60% of our turnover has been renovated with innovations. Yeah? And many of them you must have experienced. And this is something for us as a consumer goods company, innovation will remain our lifeblood. Yeah? Last year at the same venue, for the first time I had unveiled Kaan Khajura Tesan. Were any of you here last time? Yeah? Now let me give you a brief about Kaan Khajura Tesan. There are many parts of India which are still media dark, where television does not reach. Now we had started a mobile radio called Kaan Khajura Tesan, and this was based on the quintessential Indian habit of giving a missed call. So you call up 1-800-30,000-123, give a missed call, and we call you back, and for 20 minutes, we entertain you in Bihari language, songs, jokes, interspersed with our advertising. And Kaan Khajura Tesan now has become the biggest radio station in Bihar, with 30 million unique users. And we are now expanding it to rest of the Hindi heartland. Yeah? Now this was one of the entries which won 3 golds in Cannes this year for sheer creativity. I don't think India won any gold but for Kaan Khajura Tesan this year. The second important pillar for us is winning in the marketplace. We have an enviable infrastructure. 3 million outlets under direct coverage. Yeah? And that combined with the technology that we use through IQ, etc., data analytics, it makes it into a very potent combination. We are available in 7 million outlets across the country, but important is how many of them we service directly, because that is where we can have more control. Control over assortment, control over promotions, control over point of sales material, control over pricing. As far as modern trade and the top-end GT is concerned, our focus is on building brands in store. How do we bring in the power of 6 Ps inside and start building brands? Yeah, an example is very clear. If a consumer has not seen my advert, but goes into the store and gets my brand story, that is what is called building brands in store. The other big change that we have done in the last 12 months, recognizing that India is not a homogeneous country. Yeah? Categories are in a different stage of evolution. The socio-economic cluster in India are very different. Languages are different. We have reorganized ourselves. We have rewired ourselves. So we have moved from 4 regions to 14 clusters so that we can harness the potential of emerging India. Yeah? The other big bet that we have taken is on Central India. Central India has a population a shade under 500 million, where the per capita consumption is very close to sub-Saharan Africa. And a large part of this is still media dark. Yeah? So that is where we are going to bring the power of market development and unlock the potential for HUL. So for us, this is all about the winning in many Indias, faster response, seamless communication, smaller teams with sharper focus, and better infrastructure so that we have a better delivery, and everyday great execution. So the jobs to be done today are being crafted by consumer clusters. That's the difference that we have brought in. For us, rural remains very important. It is 1/3 of our business, but still 70% of the population lives in rural, 55% of the private consumption is there, and increasingly with our toehold over there, with the strength of infrastructure, as the rural economy picks up, we will be there to reap the benefit of it. The third important leg for us is how do we continuously raise the bar? Continuous improvement. Whether it is maxing the mix or end-to-end focus on cost across our value chain, that's where continuous improvement focus comes in. If you look at it, whether it is the material cost saving or the non-material supply chain costs or overheads, we leverage on scale, but more importantly, have a huge focus on improving the efficiency and effectiveness of all the money that we spend. Last year, we also started on how do we make an organization more agile, more simple. And one of the things which we did was cull the non-performing SKUs. We looked at our portfolio, and because we have a constant stream of innovations and renovations, a time comes when you have to stop, pause, look at your portfolio and rationalize it. And what we have done is about 30% of the non-performing SKUs we have removed. Remember carefully, these are not brands or sub-brands. These are just SKUs which we have removed so that we could focus on the balanced part of the portfolio and make them much bigger and stronger. Winning with people, our focus is that we will remain an employer of choice, and that is investing behind the employer brand. So we attract great talent and make them better by investing huge amount of money and resources in developing our people. So whether it is performance culture, whether it is purpose-driven, values-led leadership, whether it is diversity and gender balance, that's where it all goes in making our talent become stronger and better. For us, capabilities is very important to make our organization future ready. When we talk about capabilities, we talk about institutional capabilities. It's a pretty comprehensive agenda where we have picked up a few areas where we want to develop capabilities which are difficult to replicate by any other competitor. Now, as far as Swachh Bharat is concerned, we believe that there is a complete sync between what Mr. Modi wants in India and the kind of work that we have been doing. As far as the hand washing is concerned, our idea is to scale it up from 65 million to 160 million in the next 5-6 years. When it comes to Pureit, we'll move from 55 million to 100 million. When it comes to Domex Toilet Academy, we are using an entrepreneur-based model to seed a lot of toilets which could be sprung around the country, but also very importantly, we are investing in behavior change. Because it is not just about infrastructure, it is motivating the people, understanding the triggers and barriers so that they start using the toilet. When it comes to water, we have through the HUF, Hindustan Unilever Foundation, we work on conserving water from both the demand side and supply side. So that's the story of HUL. We sell 30 billion pieces every year to 98% of country's households through 7 million outlets, manufacturing nearly everything that we sell in the country through amazing brands and great talent. Over to you now for any questions you may have.